Okay, so clearly this whole setup is not really designed for people who are not speaking whatever Dharma language or Eastern Bhutanese or whatever. This was not in our arrangement, so you will have to excuse us. But nevertheless, I will try to squeeze in some information for you. In order to really appreciate everything what's going on here, I think we need to understand different kinds of mindset. If you are here with some sort of archaeological mind, then you may find it difficult to understand. If you are here with this mindset that is what we call educated, then probably you will also find it difficult. Mind you, a lot of these Bhutanese, especially younger generations, they are already, from some of those yogis' point of view, their brain is already damaged. And obviously, most of you are all graduated in this university, finished that education. So yes, from those yogis' point of view, your brains are already damaged. When I say archaeological mindset, I'm talking about things like dates. Because in order for you to validify something, I'm sure you are always thinking in terms of date. When is this manufactured? And then, of course, not just the date, measurement. Some of these yogis, they think date is a joke. They can't understand why modern people are so imprisoned by this archaeological mindset. Well, I'm not here to judge. I'm sure many of you and many of the educated, so-called educated young Bhutanese think some of the things that Bhutanese, this older generation or whatever is happening is very primitive. Well, if you define primitive as backward, if you are defining primitive as something foundational, then it's okay. Also, if you try to define what is sophistication, I'm sure many young Bhutanese, they define sophistication by, I don't know, economical advancement, technological advancement, etc., etc. So first and the most importantly, you need to know that of course, it's up to you whether you want to hold on to this mindset that we have, or probably you might want to be sort of stay out of that mindset, even just for a few days. Then I think you will appreciate why these school kids, small kids, they sit here whole day on the dust, not moving and really sitting still. You will also understand why many Bhutanese come with a Vaseline. Thousands of Vaselines. I think the Vaseline market is going up for now. They come here so that I will just blow on it. And for a lot of these people, for them, this is all they need, no matter what kind of issues they have. And actually, I belong to this generation that grew up in this kind of environment, but also I'm exposed to another kind of mindset. So this is why a few days ago I was asking you, if you laugh at how the Bhutanese treat me as God, you should laugh behind these Bhutanese. I always tell myself I should win an Oscar. 64 years of really good acting as a God, but unfailing. But for your own, friendship with the locals, maybe even safety, you probably not want to laugh in front of them. Anyway, so this is the mindset that, time, space, the way you quantify, way you qualify, it's a really, really different. And with that comes also something so relaxed and joyful too. As I was distributing the blessing, there's this lady who shakes a lot. So I was asking the local Bhutanese surrounding her, saying, did you guys give her too much alcohol? And one of the older lady immediately responded, no. She said, I tried to introduce a handsome old man, but even that does not work. So this is what happens. A certain ethic, morality, etiquette really is in a different sort of, it has a different definition. So anyway, this is a sort of, I believe that, well, of course, I wish I have aspiration, but I believe that this kind of mindset is not going to last. Perhaps 30 years, another 40 years, as one great English writer, maybe he's English, I don't know, American, his name is Mark Fisher. He said that there is something called capitalist realism. We just don't know how to think that you can actually get out of this realism. And obviously, Bhutan is also very much a victim of that. From this mindset, I would consider many of you are quite lucky that you are witnessing perhaps some of the last remaining this kind of mindset. But on the side note, I have to say, I'm very encouraged by young Bhutanese. A lot of them seem to really have that element in them. So I really hope that this can be nourished and maintained and extend maybe another 30 years. Okay, now coming back to a serious business. So this is a cycle, Pema Lingpa cycle, teaching. So it's lots and lots of initiations put together. You don't need to receive all. Even one will do. But lamas do give this kind of cycle of, different teachings, just so that the whole cycle of the teachings can be preserved. Now, Pema Lingpa, as I was telling the Bhutanese, is very much our own, when I say our, meaning Bhutanese. Often the Tibetans, you know how the Tibetans are kind of racist, I'm sure, I hope that. Well, Tibetans are much more culturally sophisticated, mark the word. And they have lots of history and all that. So the Tibetans, you could sometimes, I don't know, jokingly or whatever, they sometimes tend to look down towards Bhutanese as this tribal, sort of backward. But I will tell you something. Pema Lingpa was a very Bhutanese in every form and shape. He was a Bumtangpa, Central Bhutanese, right? Central? Yeah. And actually, he was a, ironsmith. So he used to make knives. But he was a reincarnation of King Trisong Deusen's daughter. King Trisong Deusen, amazingly, visionary person. Just to give you a picture of King Trisong Deusen, I think he was very, like all the, powerful ruler, visionary, decisive, who brought Guru Rinpoche, Vimalamitra, all that to Tibet. But I think there's a side of him that is very childish also. When he gets angry, he would roll on the dust. Sometimes some people even say he would eat shoes when he gets angry with his ministers. Sort of very kiddish. Now he has some sons, Prince, so he only has one daughter, I think. But daughter died very young, 6, 7, 8, something like that. So he urged Guru Rinpoche Pema Sambhava, hey, you are supposedly a great realized being. As an only daughter, he must really love her so much. And then he said, make her alive again. So then Guru Rinpoche said, now this may be not possible for the long term, but temporarily he invoked her spirit into her body. And during that time, Guru Rinpoche gave many of the teachings, especially the teaching that you are going to receive tomorrow. And then her reincarnation, some amazing people, obviously Pema Lingpa,
当然包括贝玛林巴，
and also Long Chenpa.
还有龙钦巴。
So now we'll just briefly about tomorrow's Kunzang Gongdui. So the word Kunzang is a very, very important word. It means at all times, in all places, forever, from the timeless, from the beginning. Just, I don't know. I don't think there is a equal word in English. At all time, everywhere, primordially, forever, good. Zang is something like excellent or pure or perfect. Now, this is a really important word because what Tantra is saying is that we, you and I, have always been perfect. Not even for a moment we became sort of not perfect. Not even for a moment. So, Pema Lingpa said, it's like a gold. When the gold is not polished, when it is just an ore. For those who don't know about gold, they may not see it as a gold. But whether they believe or not, it is gold. After polishing, make it into an earring, nose ring, whatever, it hasn't changed at all. This absolute purity is our true nature. That is what sort of the quintessence of the teaching. So in order to really explain that, we use so many different kind of symbols, language.
语言
We, of course, do the explanations. By the way, the explanations is almost the sort of the last resort. In this kind of abhishekas, they prefer things like symbols. For instance, symbols like the crystal. Crystal, there's a lot of qualities like see-through, clarity. Then if you have a sun hitting on it, there's suddenly a rainbow. These rainbows don't get decreased if you put it in a box, in the crystal inside the box for 1,000 years. Just like that, our true nature is at always perfect. But of course, we don't know this. And the reason why we don't know this, because, yes, we have so many habitual patterns. And the habitual patterns, such as archaeological habitual patterns, like a dates, like a measurement. So since I'm looking at a lot of photographers here, I will use this as an example. When a photographer frame, they end up doing two things, right? They're choosing an object, but they're also eliminating a lot of things. They have to, no choice. Only the Samantabhadra Buddha has the most wide-angle lens. They always end up eliminating lots of things. So our education, our society, the way we think, always end up eliminating a lot of things. So we always end up seeing things in a very, very limited way. It's almost like we are all holding a micro lens in the form of geography, political science,
政治学、
economy,
经济，
all of this.
诸如此类。
Things becomes very narrow. And because of that, we don't see this innate basic goodness, the Samantabhadra. So this is basically, I think, the foundation thing that is being taught, introduced again and again. And anyway, I think I'm talking too much, so maybe another time I will talk about the vase. For tonight, I think this will do.
那么今天晚上就讲到这边。